So, I thought I'd do something special for this episode. It's the last episode of Halloween-athon. Ooh. And I thought I would put together a little movie quiz for you guys. A horror movie quiz.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Play the music, Ethan. It's quiz time.
Come on down, everybody. Come on down.
Everyone clap! Clap! No!
Alright, so it's only 5 questions. I don't expect you guys to get any of these right. But here's hoping. Whoever wins gets my affection. All right.
What if we don't want that?
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Well, then you
Do we
get...
have a better prize?
No. Stop heckling me. You're a contestant. All right. My first question. What did Alfred Hitchcock specifically use as fake blood in the movie Psycho?
Chocolate sauce.
More specific. More specific.
Hershey's chocolate sauce.
Bingo.
Milk
Chris gets the
chocolate
point.
sauce.
Woo! Woo! All right.
Yeah.
I got one.
All right. Bring it down.
Everyone.
All right.
Silence in the court. Order in the court.
All right. What is the final line of 1982's The Thing, and who is it spoken by?
Okay, it's spoken by, Kurt Russell, and he says, I don't know the exact quote, but he goes like, I don't know, let's just sit, hang around for a while, see what happens, something like that.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah. What's the exact quote?
He said, McReady says, why don't we just wait? McReady says,
McReady?
Why don't...
Your McReady is ready.
He says, why don't we just wait here for a little while and see what happens?
All right, I was close enough.
You were very close. Yeah, you're given the point. 1-1. You little score bugs at the bottom of the screen. All right. 3. Where does the first Conjuring film take place?
Oh fuck.
Louisiana.
New England?
Chris, hone in more and I'll give you the point.
Oh god.
Salem.
Where the fuck is New England? Is it in Salem? I don't know.
No.
I don't know US geography that well.
It's a state. I'll give you that. A state in New England.
A state in New England? New England is a state.
No, it's not.
Is it a city?
No, it's a state.
Massachusetts.
No. Massachusetts is not New England.
Massachusetts. Yes, it is. It's the same thing.
It's an area.
No, New England is a region, not a state.
Yeah, it's a region.
Is it New Hampshire?
No.
Massachusetts.
Vermont.
No.
Maine.
Nope.
What the fuck? Connecticut.
No.
Rhode Island.
Yeah, Chris gets the point.
Rhode Island?
He was close.
Wait, does it take place in Quahog?
No, it does not. Not in the fictionalized Quahogian.
That would be.
What are they?
It pans
Holy
over.
Crap. Peter!
All right.
It seems today that all you see. All right, go ahead, man.
All right, number 4. How many gallons of fake blood did Peter Jackson use on the movie Brain Dead? I will accept a range.
1 to 1,000.
1 to 1,000,000.
Closer. Gallons? I'm gonna guess 250 gallons.
I was gonna say 200. Who's
closer?
closest?
Let's go with that.
250 is closer to the actual
Yeah.
answer.
How much
was it?
5,000 to 10,000
my-
gallons of fake blood.
5,000.
That's
Hey.
making me
Damn,
thirst.
Peter.
They said they could have used 15,000 to 20,000, but it's estimated 5,000 to 10,000. That was
What the
wild.
hell?
All right.
Poor cleanup crew.
All
That
right.
cleanup crew must have hated him.
So Chris is gonna win, but for posterity's sake, I'm gonna still ask the fifth.
Do it for double points. This last one is for double.
All right,
Yeah,
all right.
Winner take all. Winner take all.
Double points means you would tie Ethan, right? No, just
Yeah.
okay. All right. How many kills does Jason Voorhees have?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I guess we have to do like a ballpark guess and see who gets closest.
Yeah, because both of you haven't really seen a lot of Friday movies.
I feel like he largely acquires maybe 5 to 6 per movie. And there's like a shitload of movies. Are you counting? Are you doing every single movie?
Yeah.
Like
Every
tallied? Oh shit.
every movie.
There's like how many? Okay, so
I'm gonna guess-
there's like 11 movies, right? There's 11 or 10 or 11 movies.
Somewhere around there, I feel like. I'm gonna guess 73.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess. You know what? For someone to keep track of this, I think it's gonna be like I think it's gonna be like 100 or something like that.
All right.
Maybe like
Those are your
yeah.
final answers. Final answers.
Who's
Yep,
closer?
73.
All right.
Locking in 73.
Ethan.
Oh!
The answer is 170 kills.
Wow.
Whoa, that was like both of our
High
answers
kill
almost.
count.
He is the high. He has the highest body count of any slasher villain. So
What about
wanted
Black
to choose
Adam?
him.
But I bet Black Adam's killed more people than Jason.
Well, he does say, "Tell them the Men in Black. The Man in Black sent you."
Yeah.
Yeah. and
Tell
then he
Jason
kills.
the Men in Black sent you.
That's what he said.
All right.
Very fun.
Well, that was our fun Halloween quiz show. And now we're gonna get on to our best candy themed movies, because you know Halloween. We love candy. We love candy so much. We love. Huh?
What the hell?
Who's
what the
that?
hell is that?
Who's that?
You are not doing dandy movies. You are punished because your quiz was so bad to talk about the worst horror movies.
The devil? What are you doing here?
Oh, fuck!
Get out of here, man.
No! All right, that was really cringy, but yeah, we're talking about the worst horror movies.
The devil
I just
came
want to say
in.
that was Brandon's idea. I don't want. I need to fully pin that on him.
Shut up! I wanted to be creative. I tried to be creative to open this
Tried
episode.
to be creative, but now you just embarrassed me in the podcast. Maybe it's a double win for you. So
Well, it's the torture stack. We got to torture our audience a little bit.
that's right. It's the torture. We're talking. This is the first time in all of Stacked we're talking negatively about movies. I would say, you know, and we've
Have we
talked
not?
about.
I'm sure we've done some stuff.
We've talked about bad movies in the past, but for good reasons. We've talked about guilty pleasures. We talked about bad movies that are good to watch under certain substances. But we've never done a stack intentionally criticizing films for being garbages and pieces of shit. No,
Hey,
I don't want this
bring it,
stack.
bring it,
I don't
bring it
want
down,
this
bring it
stack to be like that. You know, I like keeping things positive around here. You know, the film discourse. It's hard to make a movie. It's really hard to make a movie, you know?
You're special if you made a movie. We get it.
You are incredibly special if you've worked on just a movie. And that makes you enough. So I feel like we're celebrating bad movies. The beauty of bad, you know? Because sometimes it's fun to torture yourself. Sometimes it's fun to be a little sadistic, you know?
Especially during Halloween.
Yes, because, you know, trick or treat. Sometimes you have treats, sometimes it's a trick and you watch a bad movie. You know?
We tricked you with the candy theme.
We tricked you. It was going to be candy movies, but now it's bad.
Even though
Should I label the
thumbnail-
thumbnail to be candy movies?
Oh, yes.
Candy movies. So stupid. So stupid.
That's so stupid.
No, we gotta mislead our. I'm gonna be like
that would be pretty funny.
for the Instagram post. I'm gonna be like, ho hum, nothing special here. Have some candy.
So stupid. Oh, it's so stupid. But we're gonna do it because we're a stupid show and we take pride in that.
We have
Um,
fun.
Oh yeah, we're
We have
fun.
Yeah,
we're
we have
fun. We have fun here. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about bad movies. There are a lot of bad horror movies. Just there are lots of bad movies in any genre.
Mhm.
But
But
horror
I-
feels like, for some reason, this genre.
I
Something
think,
about this genre.
I think it's, bad horror and bad comedy are like, they're the same type of evil, because it's
Yeah.
like horror and comedy itself are two genres trying to elicit a visceral reaction out of you. One is laughter, one is fear, So when you have a horror movie that's just horrible and not making you scared, but rather making you upset, bored, maybe it's making you laugh,
But not in the ways that they want.
not in the way that you want, then that's not good, but maybe it'll make for a memorable experience. So for me, I didn't want to pick insanely dull horror movies that are just nothing, that I didn't want to talk about, I could have talked about The Video Dead. We watched that a few weeks ago. That was probably one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen. But it's horrible because it was just so boring, Like, I don't want to be like, this movie is boring. This movie. So I have a little theme around my stack. These are movies that could have been incredible and really fun, that had the potential, but they're just so bad, So they're movies that I watched because I saw the potentiality in it, but in the end, turned out to be quite doo-doo.
Quite
Doo-doo
doo-doo
feces.
feces,
As
they
our
might say.
As our last guest on our last episode said, doo-doo feces all over the walls and floors. So yeah, that's how I did it. Guys, did you do anything different, or were you just going for the worst of the worst? What about you, Chris? What was your method to the madness?
So for me, I needed something to structure my stack just because I was bombarded by so many options for bad horror movies. I don't know if and I mentioned earlier that something for this genre, for one reason or another, it feels like a lot more shit comes out of this genre. And I think the reason I can point to is that horror movies are relatively easy to make. So I feel like a lot of people can make these movies, but also they're easy to screw up because eliciting fear is a very specific, as you said, Ethan, a very specific emotion to pull out of your audience. And it can be very easy to fumble that. So in my effort to bring structure to the list of movies I could bring up for this one, I decided to separate them into one of three camps. The original movie, sequel movie, remake movie. And horror movies, there are many horror movies that fit into one of them. So I figured that would just be a nice way to organize it. And sure enough, yeah, I think I got a little something here that'll work just fine.
That will work just fine. I agree. Brandon, you're the one who came up with this topic and this whole structure to the show. What were you thinking when you were coming up with these movies?
I think I wanted to have a balance of all of the movies, because there are some bad horror movies that are just plain bad and painful to watch. And if it is in the spirit of Halloween, sadistic terror is the goal sometimes. And then I wanted to pick one that was sort of fun. I've had fun with it, but I fully acknowledge it's an awful movie. And then the last one is just bad, but not super bland like my super painful pick. But just, it's bland, it's watchable, but it's really bad. So we'll get to it.
All right, and get to it we shall. But before we do that, let's of course run over the rules of the show. Once a week, we set a topic or theme and go our separate ways to construct our own 3-film stack. Then after a week, we come back here on the podcast and share our own stacks 1 film at a time. Then at the end of the show, we will mix and match our 9 films to make the ultimate decision what quintessential 3-film stack we are checking out of this hypothetical video store. Damn, I did that one pretty flawlessly.
Good job.
I've been struggling
well
a bit lately, but that one was good. That one was pretty good. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for that one. All right, Chris, you are actually up first. With your first bad horror movie, so are you gonna go with your original first? I assume.
I'm gonna do the original first, just because I gotta throw something out there. Ethan, you alluded to this movie earlier. I'm just gonna throw it in there. I'm picking Video Dead.
Are you serious?
I'm picking Video Dead. I just needed to talk about this movie with the audience and with you guys again because this was something. Okay, so
Certainly
let me
knows
pull
how
this
to
up.
pick them. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, Ethan,
Shut
you
up.
do know. So, for anyone who doesn't know, we have this routine after the recording the show where we watch a movie together, and we rotate between who gets to pick the movie, and that way, it keeps things fresh, so that everybody gets to watch like new stuff, and it's not like one person's dominating over the remote all the time. So yeah, so that's what we've been doing. And Ethan, a couple weeks ago now, hang on, let me double check here. On
was the
October
last one I
3rd, so
picked.
earlier this month, Ethan picked this movie called The Video Dead. And Ethan's tonight also your turn to pick.
It is. I'm picking a better one. Don't worry. I'm not going on a blind. I'm showing
He
you
is
guys
picking a
cool.
better one.
Don't you worry. But okay, so he picked The Video Dead, which is a movie that none of us had seen. Ethan, I think the only reason you picked this was because the poster looked cool and the title was kind of interesting.
Yep, that's right.
Right. Yeah, this movie fucking sucked. So this movie is from 1987, directed by Robert Scott. He has only ever directed this film. There is, as far as we know, there is no other follow-up to his filmography. So basically, the synopsis for this film is about a supernatural television which is delivered to a very normal suburban family instead of some research lab or something. And eventually the undead start turning up. That's kind of it, in all honesty. I can't tell you a damn thing about the characters. I can't tell you anything about the setting because other than its suburban America like setting, there's really nothing to it. There is one, I will say, Brandon, I remember Brandon was raving about this. During this movie, there is this one scene where a character is brushing their teeth, I think.
Yeah.
And it's intercut with a shot of a zombie and like building anticipation and like tension through that. Which is like, that's like editing 101, but effective, if very effectively done. Yeah. Followed shortly by probably the most terrible piece of editing they did throughout this movie, where a character faints, and then we cut to another character looking at the person, and then cut back to the fainted character just sprawled out dead on the floor like a Family Guy character.
I was like, this is really good. Like, this is like a good scene in this movie. It's establishing like character and tension and stuff like that. And then it just threw it all away.
I threw it all away right there. But nonetheless, I won't lie. Like, I just so everybody knows, I love watching movies with you guys. I don't give a shit what movie it is. But this movie fucking was boring as shit. We literally started just chatting throughout the middle of the
Yeah, we were talking about fuck all. We were talking about like everything except for the movie. Like we were just like I don't think I've ever been so disconnected with a film than that night. we were just trying to think of questions just to ask each other, like would you rathers and stuff like that. So we were just like anything but to watch this movie.
Yeah, it in a weird way, it stimulates conversation because you're trying to get away from the movie. So it works on that front.
Yeah,
but I bring this movie up only for the reason, yes, it is one of those like so bad movies that like it's kind of awful to sit through. But I did have a good time with it, and also I just wanted to share the story of us watching this movie, so that's why I picked it. Nothing else to it. It's just that.
Yeah, I have a pretty bad habit of picking movies based on how cool their poster is. I think that's one of my worst movie watching habits that lead me down dark paths.
You're judging books by their covers. You should look at all the Letterboxd posters before you choose, since you have Patreon now.
Yeah, that's true. I gotta sift through them all and be like, is this really good? Yeah, I judge movie posters by their cover, but never in bad ways. It's always like, oh, I only watch ones that are really cool. I never look at a poster and be like, this sucks. Only cool ones. I'm just like, okay, I gotta watch this. This poster looks cool because the poster is so cool.
But that's how they get you.
I know, it's a zombie crawling out of a TV. There's like smoke and lasers, and like the font is cool. It says Video Dead. And I'm like, whoa, this looks cool. And from the one still in the letterbox background, like it looks, the makeup effect looked pretty good. But then as we turned out to see that it may only look good in still images, because once the zombies start moving around, they're just people in masks, you know? They don't move their mouths or anything. And yeah, it was pretty horrible. It's just a very nothing movie, which is so sad. I can't even tell you like what the lore behind this. I just know zombies come out of a TV. Sometimes they watch the TV and the zombies are in the TV, but then sometimes they're out of the TV. You know, they put an old lady in a dryer, in a washing machine. That was kind of funny. You know, there was a couple of good kills in the movie. There was that one. There was like the clothing iron. You know, I don't know. I got
you definitely paid
I'm
more
stretching.
attention to this movie than me, because none of that rings a bell. Not a thing. Not a damn thing. But yeah, okay, that sounds cool.
But okay, I should have watched that part then. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. I trust you. It probably wasn't. Brandon, what do you think about? What was your review of Video Dead?
It was really bland, and it had one good moment, and they had so much potential about things coming out of their TV.
It's a cool concept. It's a really cool concept.
I've seen a Lifetime movie do better, or like I don't even know. It was made for TV. It's called Monster Makers. You can check it out. I've been trying to find this movie on DVD for years. It's got David Henry in it.
You picked it for monster movies, I remember.
Yeah, it's so fun.
yeah.
And it's movie like these classic monsters coming out of the screen, and it has the tone of Hocus Pocus, but it's not very good. But it knows that. It's a TV movie, for God's sake. But it's so fun. But this movie is like, you want one boring zombie movie and nothing else, and a porn character? That's it? Okay, that's fine. You can have it, and that's it, and nothing else happens, and it sucks. So... Well, can I just read the synopsis of Monster Makers before we move on?
We're not even talking. Okay, fine. You've already talked about Monster Makers on the show, but please remind us, even though we're not even talking about that movie.
The movie is based on Tim Stoker's experience as a monster movie geek. The monsters in an old non-released movie come out of the movie, and Tim and his friends in the real world and the movie must find the way to stop the monsters. The movie has bullies, geeks, parents, a love interest, etc. Period.
Wow.
That's the IMDb. It's got a 5.0 average, probably higher than the Video Dead. That's all I gotta say. I know how to pick them. Ethan does not.
Why? I know. Never before have you guys been so mad at making a movie.
We just want to shit on you.
Yeah, it was not good. Okay, let's go to my first one. So my first movie could have been a really funny horror comedy that has its moments, but is just so excruciatingly bad for the majority of it. So imagine, if you will,
No.
someone just came out of the theater from seeing Jack Frost for the first time. That Jack Frost, the one with the serial killer snowman. And they thought, that is the coolest movie ever. I love that movie. I want to make something like that. But instead of a snowman, it's a gingerbread man. That is right. I am picking the Ginger Dead Man, starring Gary Busey as the gingerbread man. Here is the plot of the movie. Gary Busey, like the Jack Frost, is a serial killer who is put to death on the electric chair. and then he is cremated, and his ashes accidentally get delivered to a baker, and that baker accidentally spills those ashes into her gingerbread mix. So Gary Busey's soul possesses this horrific looking gingerbread man. If you look up images of this fucker, it's a gingerbread man with Gary Busey's face, and he is the ugliest son of a bitch I've ever seen in my life.
Ew. It's a trilogy?
It's a trilogy. Not only is it a trilogy, it crosses over multiple times with another classic horror franchise, The Evil Bong. The Ginger Dead Man versus The Evil Bong. And he has also been in The Evil Bong 666. And in The Evil Bong 777. It is a cinematic universe of schlock that I think started with the Ginger Dead Man. And yeah. This movie's pretty... Yep, there he is.
Oh my god. This is pretty horrifying to look at, bro.
The scenes with Gary Busey as the Gingerbread Man, albeit, are pretty fun to watch. But the rest of this movie, when he's not in it, which is for not that long, because it's a very low budget film, they can't have him in it for that long. It's one of those films where you watch it and you just feel bad, you know? You're like, oh man, these guys are trying so hard, but it's just, they're coming with
not
nothing.
Working.
Like, the acting is just not there, you know? The lighting is just, like, very, like, they don't have much money for lights, you know? So it's, and the sets aren't all there, you know? And you just feel bad, you know? Like, I can't even, like, go into just hating it, you know? I just, like, oh, it's so unfortunate, because this movie could have been really funny. You know, like, this is a stupid concept, and I like stupid concepts like these, and because it can make something really funny, you know. But it just doesn't get there, and I don't think I'd ever talk about the Ginger Dead Man in any other topic, so I'm talking about it here. What do you guys think of the Ginger Dead Man?
It looks cool.
I can't believe that we've never talked about this ever before.
I know, right?
Like, you've never even mentioned it.
Never even mentioned the Ginger Dead Man, starring Gary Busey, of all people.
Why are there like 10 of these? Like,
there's so many.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Happen? How did they make them? How much were they costing? My theory is Gary Busey has a nepotism baby that is failing at being a nepotism baby.
Gary Busey does have a nepotism baby.
No, I'm talking Jake Busey, yes.
Yeah, Jake Busey.
But hey, no, I'm talking about potential for like a second one, like the ugly stepchild that didn't get it, and it's this kid, the opposite, the anti-Cinderella.
It's made by Charles Band.
He's like, I'm trying to do this as a favor to you, and he's like,
you know who else? You know what other movie he made, Brandon? The maker of the Gingerbread Dead Man, who also made The Evil Bong, made Head of the Family.
Makes
Remember
sense.
that movie?
It makes sense. It just makes sense. It's a bad movie.
Oh, and he also made Pre-Hysteria. I thought the movie was pretty good. It's like the little dinosaurs that come to life, the dinosaur toys. Anyways.
I don't care.
Oh my god. He's made all the Evil Bong movies. That's crazy. He made this movie called Ooga Booga. It's like this racist little like tiki doll. Interesting. This dude's made so many movies. Holy shit. He's made 66 movies. And they're all like feature-length films. This dude was
gotta
busy.
get on his level.
They all look like, oh my gosh. He made a movie called Goobers. Kind of want to see Goobers.
Well, Evil
Goobers
Bong 888 Infinity High is coming this year. So,
are you serious?
I
got a bit.
Oh my god. Look at Puppet Master X, Axis Rising. Have you seen look it's in his
Well, the
It's
puppet.
in his letterbox.
He did a Puppet Master movie. Ethan, now we have to watch
He
this
did a
puppet.
few. He did Puppet Master: The Legacy. He did
He did a movie in 2020 called Corona Zombies.
Corona Zombies.
We should watch this one day. I'm curious.
I
now.
want to watch. No, I've wanted to wait till the next 420 to watch every single Evil Bong movie in one day. That was a plan I had. Barbie and Kendra storm Area 51.
Storm the Capitol. It's a January 6th.
He made a.
movie.
Oh
Oh my god, he made a dinosaur movie called Prehysteria.
No, Ethan says.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh,
I've
two and a
seen
half.
that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's actually a cute
Well,
movie. It's not
He's
bad.
also made Parasite.
He did.
And Sean Baker has seen it. He wrote a review about it.
Holy shit.
Very cool. All right. Well,
But yeah,
cool.
I chose the Ginger Dead movie because
Cool
I
pick.
feel like this director is just like, he seems like he's the king of this corner of schlock. All you can stream like every single one of his movies on Tubi, and I think that says enough about the Ginger Dead Man, but where you can find it. So that's my first pick, the Ginger Dead Man. Yeah, Brandon, what's yours?
Well, speaking of Tubi, you can stream my movie on Tubi. The one I'm picking. I'm picking Alien vs. Predator AVP.
Really?
Yes.
One of the what?
The
Okay.
old school AVPs.
Here's the reasoning, right? I think monster movies are an essential part. It's not it's a monster. I could see. The alien is a monster, and so is a predator.
He admits it.
Oh,
Ba-ba-ba-da! He admits it, everyone.
and I think we need to accept that just for this stacked, because this is a bad movie. Why? Because it's overly absurd. They did Freddy versus Jason 2 years later, I think, and it was a much better exploration of two slasher icons fighting. And I wish we got more like that instead of more like this, because like this film is remarkably awful. It's like basically trying to be The Thing meets an Alien and Predator movie, which does not work. It's set in Antarctica underneath in this massive ugly pyramid, and it's PG-13, so there's none of the gore, none of the cool kills of anything from those previous movies, and the characters are nondescript human characters. It's like a Transformers movie where it seems like they're only there to progress the plot and get killed, and then at the end of the movie you're left with one just to watch the battle go down, because by all means you can't just have a movie that's silent between an alien and a predator, like something like Wall-E does for like the first 20 minutes of that movie, you know? You know what I'm talking about? They could have such a clever movie, but instead they do this garbage fest.
No.
Yucky. What, do you like this?
This does not deserve to be on the bad horror movies list. This is a bad movie, but it is not nearly as bad as anything else I've seen. It's not nearly as bad. How are you not picking AVP Requiem?
Because I haven't
That
seen it.
movie. Well, bro, you gotta see that. That movie deserves to be on this, not this one. This one is actually pretty fun. I think this one has fun sequences between the Alien versus Predator. It's a cool matchup that I think deserved to be made. And they tried to toss in some lore on the planet Earth. I thought it was kind of interesting how, the reason why predators would come. It makes no sense in the lore of the Alien universe, because Alien takes place that like hundreds of years after. This is like in the modern day, present day. But this is like planet Earth used to be a hunting ground for when predators would fight a bunch of xenomorphs, and that would be like their ultimate like trial of to be like the.
It's like how they
best.
become a hunter, basically.
Yeah, and they would fight xenomorphs here in this temple. They would create xenomorphs here, like give sacrifices to create these creatures so the predators could hunt them, for the ultimate prize. And I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, you're right. The characters aren't all that there. but I don't know. I think there's redeemable qualities of this movie.
No,
And I don't think this movie deserves to be on the level of Video Dead and Ginger Dead Man.
Here's the reasoning. What I have here for it, though, you can have fun with it, but it completely ruins the iconic characters of the Alien and the Predator. You know, these aren't the individual things, it's the iconography, and I don't think it does a good job at doing that. I think it tries too hard to be an action movie, and it fails at being a horror movie. So it's just a failure all around. It's a very painful watch for that reason. Now, my two other picks, they're pretty painful. But I just wanted to throw this out there for them, just in case they want to watch something watchable this time.
Okay. Chris, have you seen this?
Believe it or not, I have never seen an AVP film. I actually really like the lore of the AVP films, because the thing is, I've researched into their lores just because I've been curious about, because I've seen a handful of Predator movies and I've seen a good number of the Alien movies, but I've never actually thought to myself okay, what joins these two universes together? Because in my head, they're completely separate things. Right. But then I Googled it and I was like, oh, that's weird. But okay. But I'm I don't know. I don't necessarily have a direct problem with the lore of this thing. I actually think it's kind of interesting, but I'm wary of the whole demystifying these things and by doing so making them less than what they could be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, maybe they're good. But based on Brandon picking this movie, maybe not. So I don't know. I don't really have a huge desire to seek these movies out, but just for the lore itself, it might be interesting, especially if you are a fan of either the Alien or Predators as beings or monsters, as we call them now.
There you go. I just don't see. Okay, but the thing I hate most is, why does this take place during present day? I think it could have been so cool if we were in that dystopian sci-fi world, just established in Alien, and in Aliens, and they come across the Predators, and they bring this alien egg to them and creates a xenomorph, and the Predator finally finds a true challenge. Wouldn't that made a way more interesting movie than this?
Maybe it's just the loss of potential that makes me put it on this list, because it's so disappointingly bad. It's also PG-13, which I usually don't think rating is that important when it comes to a movie's success, or anything. But in terms of horror icons, it kind of has to be. It would suck if Freddy vs. Jason was PG-13. That movie deserves an R. Whereas this, it's we stripped all the teeth from the characters and from the, you know what I mean. Not the characters, but the monsters, the beings.
Right. Yeah. Ugh. It's brutal. It's not as brutal, but it's disappointing. Alrighty. Let's go into the second round here. Chris, what is your next?
This is the one where I'm having the most trouble picking between two. I'm gonna pick about the more interesting one to talk about. I'm gonna pick Tom Six's 2015 ending to his trilogy, The Human Centipede 3 final sequence.
Here we go.
Have we finally talked about every Human Centipede film?
I
feel like
so.
We've talked about the first.
We have never picked them because they're not great. Maybe except the first one's decent to some extent. Third one is the worst of the bunch. Okay, so The Human Centipede 3. I'm gonna make this quick because the movie fucking blows. The Human Centipede 3 takes place in yet another alternate universe where the second movie is a thick piece of fiction in this universe. The characters are back, but all playing a supposed real version of themselves. Literally, the tagline of this movie on Letterboxd is literally 100% politically incorrect. Okay, so basically the movie revolves around this prison complex that is led by this viciously, cartoonishly even evil warden who looks to create a 500-person human centipede to reduce the consumption of resources that is afforded to the prisoners while in this prison. I won't lie, you guys. That is literally the entire movie. It's just the creation of this 500 person thing. It is really that bad. I also realized I haven't even rated this on Letterboxd.
I know. Does that even see
4.5.
it?
Now it does.
4.5.
It was
put a 4.5.
No, sorry, half a star. Not
He
4.5.
said it was. He said it was so bad that I had to
Yeah.
give it its props, and I can't.
It's like it's just. I mean, like it's what you expect when you think of a Human Centipede movie, especially that first one. You know, that the torture porn experience. You know, it's like it's exactly that, but it's taken to a egregious level of like absurdity here, and also just like not in service of anything larger in terms of its whatever conversation it may have about like whatever it may be. I don't know. That first movie, you could probably analyze that as something to do with like science or body standards. I don't know. But this movie is just painfully terrible. I think this movie exists solely as like something to throw on if you're curious, having seen the previous two movies. Yeah, it's comical, and you know, and it like I can understand how this might work, but it just doesn't. Not for me.
It's the Guinness Book of World Records movie for most ass to face things ever.
I would not be surprised.
I'm now just taking in like the concept of this movie. I don't think I have in the past.
Of like what's happening in these movies.
Who the fuck thought of this?
Yeah.
It is literally one of the weirdest things I've ever fucking seen in my life. The Human Centipede. I am incredibly intrigued by these movies, and I feel like I kind of have to watch them as soon as I can now. I just need to see what's up, you know? What the fuck is up? I want to read like a research paper on just like the process of coming up with this idea. Who is the man who made this idea? What crimes has he committed? Like what's
making
sick
these
and twisted
movies?
Mind? It's just like step back for a second and think about the concept of the Human Centipede. What purpose does it serve? Like,
I don't know.
I'm so intrigued to watch these movies because I want to know why. I want to know what the filmmaker's reasoning for the bad guy to stitch mouths to asses. You know?
In this one, it's commercial greed. This guy just doesn't want to fucking get more resources for these people. He just wants them to eat. It's like think about it, he's feeding 500 people with one mouth.
With one mouth.
So this guy's Jesus, basically. You know, like the story of the
like
fish,
a sick and twisted,
the
I guess,
fish
in a
and the
weird way.
wine. So this is actually a Christ metaphor, if you think about it.
Guys, what if we start doing this? Like, because we're gonna have.
I am not
food. If we're gonna start having food shortages, you know, people are throwing tomato soup at paintings because of this shit. Like, fuck. What if someone's solution is like, let's Human Centipede everybody. We can all eat with just one meal.
Chris said they were all meta, right? Or the later ones.
Yeah, because like, well, the first one isn't. The second one is like, it's meta in this because like it's only meta in the sense that like they always make the film preceding it a piece of fiction in that world that influences something in the movie.
Let's make a reboot quote, but it's a documentary.
But it's real.
That would
and we
that'd be
actually
kinda-
do this. Guys, let's do this in the real world. In the real life. What
These
do you
are the
say?
confessions of our crimes.
I don't know. I think this might be one of the most disgusting, like, this is more disgusting than Sallow to me, personally. Because And but also like it's just so disgusting because it makes sense, you know? Like, yeah, just the poop travels from person to person, and that's what they eat, and it fills them up. And what happens if they barf? You know, if they eat shit and barf, will they drown in it?
No, they have
You
to
know what
keep,
I mean?
They gotta keep eating.
But what
You
if
just
they
gotta-
barf? What if they can't? What if they can't help it?
It goes the other way.
It goes back.
They explore this in the movie.
Are you serious?
It's
Alright.
pretty. It's a very exploitative movie.
Would you want to be at the front or the back?
The
Or would you
front.
make-
Why would you
Front!
not want to?
Then you just
Why
get
would you
to-
want to
you
be
get
at
to
the
eat.
back?
The further back you are, the worse it gets.
Maybe. You're gonna be the last one to get it, though. And
Yeah,
then-
but the first person you just eat like
You
a
just
normal
eat,
human.
and then you just have a mouth stitched to your ass. That's fine. You're just pooping in someone's mouth. Sure, you'll get barfed on your ass, but that's better than eating shit. All right, let's send out a poll to our audience. Would you rather get barf up your ass, or would you rather eat shit?
By the way, I just want to say for any of my new friends from grad school listening,
Hey,
I just want to say like this is not
Hey,
representative of me.
if Chris's mom is listening, I want to hear your thoughts. I just want to hear your thoughts.
Here's my goal.
If
You feed
Oh
the
my
one
God.
person, then you stitch their mouth to the person at the end.
So it's a circle.
So it's a circle.
isn't that what they do in the third one? That's what it looks like they do. Wait, then how? Oh wait, you're right, because then you know what? You never have to feed him ever again. All right, Human Centipede 4, we did it. Let us make this movie. Let's make the movie.
the final destination.
Get on the phone, Tom. Give us a call, Tom.
We'll write up a treatment. All right.
All right, move it on. Jesus.
That was like I think that was one of the best moments in the show yet, was just talking about this movie. Okay. My next movie. I feel like it's in the similar vein to Ginger Dead Man. Except for yeah, it's pretty much similar, but instead of Gingerbread Man, it's a baboon. I'm picking Shockma! I'm picking the movie Shockma.
Shockma.
Shockma with an... Yeah, it's just Shockma. I thought it was with an exclamation mark. It has an exclamation mark on the poster, but not on Letterboxd. There's no exclamation mark there. What did I link? Oh, just the guy yelling Shockma like I just did. I linked something in my review and I forgot what I put. All right, so the movie's about these med students that are they sneak into this into this research lab, and they play a role-playing game in the middle of the night, and it's like this immersive role-playing game where they like the GM like locks all the doors to the building so they can't leave, and they encounter this experimental baboon that's gone wrong, that is just a killer baboon. And it basically becomes a slasher film with a baboon where they can't leave this building. They're stuck with a crazy monkey. And it is quite awful. It sounds like it'd be cool. Monkeys are scary. Nope has proved that monkeys and apes are psycho killers and they are scary beasts, you know? And I think baboons are pretty fucking terrifying. Have you seen their fangs and their red eyes? It's horrifying.
This is the real life guy.
That's the real Shockma in real life.
Yeah, he's with his trainer. Look at him chilling on that. He's on a motorcycle.
Look at him chilling. Yeah. I'm not. I don't care about spoiling this, but basically every time, there's only one way the people avoid getting killed by Shockma, and that's they literally just close the door and lock it. It's the same time. They run away from Shockma, they close the door and lock it, and then it's this exact sequence. They reuse footage of Shakma shaking the door open, like that one meme that we love, of the monkey. It's literally Shakma shaking the door open. Like we found out, like I was watching this with my friends from Jungles and Dragons. We found out that how they got the monkey to do that is they put a female baboon on the other side, and I think like the baboon was so horny that it tried everything to get into that building, to get with that female baboon. And it is just it could have been great. It could have been so great. A killer monkey, everyone. Could have been amazing. But it's just really boring. And the monkey's not in it enough. And when he is, they just reuse footage of him trying to open a door, But yeah, I'm picking Shakma. Crazy monkey movies. Are you guys scared of monkeys?
No. I mean, like, I feel like if you put me in a cage with a gorilla, yes, but right now, no. If that makes sense.
What?
Like the thought of a gorilla doesn't get under my skin, but if you put me in a cage with one, yeah, it's gonna scare me.
What about a baboon?
Same thing. The concept doesn't scare me, but if you put one in front of me, probably.
You're right. You know what? I
think it's because like outside of the context of any kind of danger, monkeys are funny to me.
Yeah, that's true. Except for mandrills. Those are the only guys I'm scared of. Holy fuck. The ones with the painted faces. Have you seen those ones?
I've seen those.
God damn. It's scary. Have any of you guys heard of Shakma? Or is this my first time bringing it up to you blokes?
I'm shocked.
I don't even know how to spell this. I haven't even found it on Letterboxd yet. How do you spell this?
Shakma. Shakma.
Shakma.
Shakma.
Ew. Oh wow, that is kind of scary.
See, it could be scary. A killer monkey could be very scary.
I'm not really scared of monkeys. They're just one step away from me, so it's cool. I like me some monkeys.
I would like to see you fight a monkey. Can we? Everyone, if we get to 100 subscribers, we will take Brandon to the Los Angeles Zoo, and we will have him square off with a baboon there. I want to see that happen.
If we do get 100 subscribers, I'm just going to go stare at them through the glass and see if they go...
No, I'm going to ask the zookeeper. Give us the keys. Let him in there for 5 minutes. I just need to see what happens for 5 minutes. 5 minutes with the monkey. What would you do?
I'm going to become friends. I'm going to become friends with the monkey.
I would like to see that. I'd like to see you become friends with the monkey. And then for you to look like the girl at the end of Terrifier. That's what's going to happen to you. All right. None of you guys have seen Shakma. I picked Shakma. Monkey movies. Monkeys can be very scary when they're mean. But this movie's not that scary. So that's why I picked it. Bad horror movie. Brandon, what's your next one?
My next movie, Leprechaun Origins.
Leprechaun!
I had a feeling a Leprechaun movie.
Leprechaun!
Alright, this is a reboot of the Leprechaun series, so it doesn't have Warwick Davis in it, and it's not a comedy. It's actually a horror movie. And it's where it's shot like Terrifier, but worse. But it's color corrected to look gray. They say Marvel movies look gray. Watch this movie. This movie is the grayest movie I've ever seen in my life. Takes place in Ireland. These people they're drinking at a bar. They're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, no, like, this is like the real Leprechaun origin. And they're college friends talking to these like Irishmen who are like, leprechauns are evil creatures. And you're like, haha, no, they're not. And they get attacked by this goblin looking leprechaun who rips them to shreds. And it's crazy. It's not good. It's painful to watch. Frankly, it's boring a lot of the time when people don't get killed. Although there's one really cool kill in this movie, but it is awful. It's such a painful watch, and it's a WWE production. If you needed anything,
what?
Oh.
Why do they
the main
do
event?
this?
The main event.
Why the hell do they do this?
I have no clue.
This is not what I expected it to look like.
Yeah, this
I'm
looks
looking
so
through the
like
pictures of the leprechaun from it looks like Gollum mixed with an orc, you know?
Yeah, it's disgusting. Yeah, it's bad. It's like
Brandon, you said they're playing this like completely straight, right? Like they're
Yeah.
not trying to be funny at all.
there's no irony like all the other leprechaun movies. Like because
Leprechaun.
even the sequel they did after that, not even a sequel, the reboot of the reboot that they did on Sci-Fi, that WWE did, they went back to the Warwick Davis style thing, except they recast Warwick Davis because he's like, I don't want to be in a movie if my kids can see it and I'm gonna be scary, essentially. And so it went back to being the irony driven leprechaun movies. You know, it's a sequel. It's like Halloween. Halloween, the 2018 one, is a sequel to Halloween. Like Leprechaun Returns is a sequel to the original Leprechaun. It's like that.
Okay.
Interesting.
But this is
interesting.
just awful. It's no hint of irony whatsoever.
I mean, I appreciate them trying to make the leprechaun like. It seems like they're trying to Del Toro the leprechaun. You know how Del Toro like, he did his take on fairies and Pan's Labyrinth. You know, seems like they're trying to do the same thing here with a leprechaun. But yeah. It could have been cool. I think it could have been really cool and interesting, but it does seem like they just didn't know what to do here, you know?
Yeah. The I like what's coming to mind for me is the the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. You know?
Yeah, misses
I like
the
in a
point.
weird way I see kind of parallels between like trying to darken it, trying to play it straight. And yeah, like Ethan said, this could work. You know? Like a scary like this like I mean I kind of like the design, but maybe not for this movie. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, does this movie even need to be a Leprechaun movie?
No.
Really? It doesn't seem like it.
The way it's shot is like shaky cam, gray, blurry focus. It's not
Is
very.
there no pot of gold in it? Because I know that's a big part of the leprechaun.
I don't think so. No, it just was like we're gonna play it straight to the leprechaun origins of like the real leprechaun.
What does that even mean? What does an origin of the leprechaun mean? I don't know. That's pissing me off. I definitely don't want to see this movie. All right, good pick. Let's get into this final round here because we're already coming up in an hour. We spent a long time on Human Centipede 3. Let us know, everyone. Shit or butt vomit. Chris, let's go to your last movie.
All right, I'm gonna make this one quick because this one is also ass. Sorry, all my movies are ass today, but I guess that's the point. I'm picking this is my remake pick. I am picking Eric Valetti's 2008 film One Missed Call. It is a remake of a Japanese film titled the same name by Takashi Miike.
Oh, I love Takashi Miike. Holy fuck! I didn't know they remade one of his movies.
Okay. Takashi Miike directed Audition. I assume that's where your love for him comes from, Ethan.
And he directed the live-action JoJo's Bizarre Adventure movie. Did you know that?
No, but now I do. Yeah, this guy is a very accomplished filmmaker. One Missed Call is actually his 10th most popular movie, and One Missed Call ranks among some of the better early 2000 horror films that come out of Japan, in my opinion. And this remake sucks. So One Missed Call, the concept basically is that the overall idea of a One Missed Call movie is that people receive voicemail messages from their future selves where they hear themselves dying, and violently dying. And it comes with an exact time and I believe location. I know for sure time. I don't know about location of their death. And my God, I got an email and that fucking scared me because we're talking about One Missed Call. Jesus Christ, that notification scared the shit out of me.
So I guess it's not that bad of a movie, huh?
No, but I'm talking about Mike's one. This version, it does nothing. It doesn't do anything. Like the calls aren't scary. Like you get the call and you're just like, like, and like the tension doesn't feel built or deserved. And by the time like the things start happening and like it's made real, not only do you not care about the characters, either you're rooting for them to die because you don't like them that much, or you've already checked out by the movie because you don't care. And yeah, I mean, like, it's just so bland. Like it's, you know what it's shot like a Tyler Perry movie, if that makes any sense. It's the most straight kind of filmmaking you can imagine. Just plop the camera and just go for it. And there's just it doesn't feel like there's any thought put into this movie. I will say the poster, not terrible.
Yeah, it looks pretty scary.
But the actual like I don't know, there's just nothing to this movie. It all feels very like fabricated, especially having seen the original. And I don't even hold the original to like the highest of standards. I do think it's generally good, but this movie is so soulless in comparison, and it doesn't give me anything to latch onto, and let alone like it's just so underwhelming. And like I mean, we talk all the time about like the tendency for American studios to remake these movies from abroad, and sometimes they work great, sometimes they work terribly. And this is definitely one of the ones that worked the worst. Like I remember when I was doing research for the stack, this movie kept coming up on Google and Letterboxd. And after thinking about it and remembering how bad it was, yeah, that makes sense to me. Neither of you have seen either of the One Miscalled movies. Would definitely recommend the original, just for, I mean, it's Takashi Miike, so
yeah,
it's worthwhile. But even then, it's a classical piece of J-horror from the 2000s, which is kind of when that era was really picking up steam.
Yeah.
Yeah, would recommend. But as far as the American remake goes, hard pass. Or watch it just to exhibit the differences with the original. But there you go.
I'll certainly look for the original. I do want to watch a lot more Takashi Miike. I have a big watch list. Ichi the Killer. I do want to see Gozu. I've heard that one's really good. And we talked about Three Extremes, didn't we? On I think it was the last episode or the one before that. Well, I think it was the one before that. Three Extremes.
This
we
sounds
never
like
talked about that. Harrison recommended that movie to me. Sorry, friend of the show, Harrison. He recommended me Three Extremes when we were gonna do Cosmic Horror. He recommended that movie to me. I thought different podcast. He recommended that to me on a different podcast, not this one. But yeah, it sounds really cool. I do like, kind of Final Destination-y. But it's it's a bit more literal. They know exactly when, and it's sort of like a big psychological thriller of like how they avoid it, and that sounds really cool to me. What do you think, Brandon?
I think it sounds interesting because I like how it plays with people's psychology, and that kind of drives the paranoia of horror films for me, and then that causes horror itself, like the horror that you don't expect often. So the concept sounds interesting. I guess the execution will vary from type to type. Honestly, if we were to remake the movie, I think it would be pretty interesting. Because like sometimes how you watch like a horror movie with a really great concept, or even not even just a horror movie, and you're like, I could totally do better than that. You're not doing it justice, and the potential is there, and whatever my imagination have is much better than what you put on the screen. Because yuck, it doesn't even sound entertaining.
Yeah. Well, that's just how it be sometimes, isn't it? Well, let's get on to my last film. I'm technically also doing a remake, but it's also a prequel. And it's also one of the most disappointing films I've ever seen, because it is a prequel to one of my favorite films at all time. I'm picking the 2011 The Thing. Who lordy, this movie sucks. This movie sucks so much, and I don't feel bad talking about it because of how soulless they make it. It could have been at least interesting. They shot this whole movie with practical effects, like the first one, And in
Not bad.
post, they decided that nobody would like it because it's practical effects and they thought it would look cheap. So they CGI'd everything in the movie. They laid over CGI over everything. And it just makes it dreadful to watch. Just dreadful. I don't even know it's so the movie is about what happens at the Norwegian station before the Americans come there and see and like discover like the thing,
Oh right, yeah,
because
right.
at the
okay.
beginning of the movie they see the Norwegian station.
They see the shit,
all
the shit
destroyed.
that went down. Yeah.
So this movie is about what happened on the Norwegian station, and for some reason there are two. It's the whole cast and the director is Norwegian, and I think it could have been cool if this was like a Norwegian film with Norwegian cast members speaking Norwegian the whole time. But for some reason, they just had to throw in two Hollywood stars. They throw in Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Joel Edgerton as these Americans that are randomly there. So everyone has to speak English, and this is when they discover the ship, and they do things like, oh, wouldn't you like to see what's inside the ship? So you go inside the ship and you like, it's just like, it's so useless. What's so great about the original thing is the mystery, You don't want to know what happened at this station. You don't want to know what's in that spaceship or where it came from, That's what makes the film so great is the mystery of it all. Because it parallels the like how you can't figure out how this creature operates and works, So it's basically a beat for beat remake of the original film. Same shit happens. They can't really go off anything else because they're stuck in the same situation with the same threat. Not really much to do. They do one clever thing, semi clever. Instead of the blood test scene, in the original thing when they test the blood to see who's a thing and who's not with the copper wire. Instead, they find out that the thing can't replicate fillings, or if you had surgery and you have some metal in you, the thing can't replicate inorganic material. So to find out if someone is a thing, they had to see if they have a tooth filling. So they're looking at it. But even then, that's kind of stupid because that's not something everybody has. So everyone has blood, so that makes it a suspenseful thing, But in this thing, they're just like, yeah, let's show me your teeth, I'm just like...
Yeah, not everybody has fillings.
It's like so stupid. I don't know. And just like, it could have just been awesome. It really could have been. But at the same time, it couldn't. I don't know. It could have been cool if they kept the same amount of mystery and the Norwegians and they'd had, what if they went somewhere else? If they left the base and then they came back or something like that, and what if it was all Norwegian film and it was just Norwegian the whole time, and it was filmed like a Norwegian film, not like a 2011 Hollywood blockbuster,
Yeah.
But they just couldn't do that, and they just had to call it The Thing. So now there's 3 movies called The Thing, even though this is a prequel. It's so stupid. I hate it. Have any of you guys seen this one? Brandon, you've seen it, right?
Yeah. It
sucks, right? Yeah.
It's not scary. The CGI is awful. The fact that they covered up the practical effects is a travesty. Because the CGI actually dates the movie more than the Thing practical effects do.
Yeah.
I think they had the expectation, this is going to last longer. No. It's just cheaper alternative. Even though they already paid for the practical effects, so you wasted money. The VFX, and like you said, the story is nonsensical. It's an interesting concept, again, to take the prequel to the Thing and kind of reveal what happens to that team, even though you don't really have to reveal any of the mythology regarding the alien, because you already have enough. If you've seen the original Thing, you're going to just get the same information.
Yeah.
It would have been a good companion piece, but instead you're just left with something so bland and dull. I don't like the way it's shot. There are times it feels like it's like... there are times where it does feel like it's like trying to be something akin to like a Cloverfield. There's like moments where like there's zooms and stuff like that, and like it doesn't work for this movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's not found footage in that sense. It's shot very studio, but handheld. It goes handheld a few times. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, just it's one of those movies where I like never really want to watch it again. Truly, it's not even like it's not even the fact that it's like poorly made. It's just not fun and not interesting. No. So what's the reason to watch it?
No reason at all. Chris, I know you haven't seen this movie. Never watch this in your life. I'm just going to tell you that. You will be completely fine if you never see this movie. It's awful and pointless. So pointless.
That's great.
All right. Brandon, wrap it up for us.
All right. I'm picking one of the worst films ever made. It's so painful. It's a horror movie, but is it though? I'm picking 1966 is Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Oh, the classic, the classic Mystery Science Theater, fucking movie. You know,
well,
one of the most iconic episodes.
I watched this movie without that, and it was one of the most painful experiences I've ever had in my life. And even if you watch the Mystery Science Theater, they have a hard time coming up with riffs for it because it is just so bad. It's literally half the movie is a road trip movie with characters you don't care about. And then they get to this hotel or like cult area, and this guy leads them, and then like one by one starts like hypnotizing them, and then like I don't even remember, does he kill them? Or does he just like, it's just so awful, and like it's so painful to watch, and it's not a good film. It's not a good horror film. So if it's not scary, it's not interesting, it doesn't contain characters really, and like it's nonsensical scene to scene, what's the point of watching it? Oh, I hate this movie.
Yeah, I've only seen this movie through the Mystery Science Theater commentary track. And even then, I remember thinking it was funny at the time. I can't remember a thing that happens in this movie. Not a single thing, but I remember it was not good. Just like, I don't know. What are the hands of fate? You know? Nobody knows.
Well, at least this movie has Torgo. That's the only thing going for it. Little freaky boy. Torgo's like the Igor from the Frankenstein. He's just a little creepy guy who watches people. It's like, ooh, ew. I'm the Denny. He's the Denny of the room to Manos and Hands of Fate.
Denny?
Yeah. Denny's. What are you doing, Danny?
Look at Torgo. Look at him. He's just this little hillbilly man.
Yeah, we love him.
We love little Torgo, don't we, folks?
That's all we love about this movie.
And the honestly, poster of him with the cloak, that dude with the cloak with the hands. I don't know. See, this is why I didn't pick really horrendous movies, because there's like, what is there to say, you know?
It's a torture stack for a reason, Ethan. I'm torturing these people.
I know. It's that you're torturing our listeners to this commentary that we have on this movie. It's just like, we're just like, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's a nothing movie. And that's why you're going to watch it, and you're going to like it.
Chris, I know you've seen this movie. I know you have a lot to say. What do you think?
Harold P. Warren has only made one movie in his life, and it's this.
I wonder what happened to him. What happened to him? You know? What if he died?
He made this for 19 grand.
19 grand?
Yeah.
Wow. Well. Moving on! There's really nothing to say. Great job. And that's when you know you have a good bad film, when there's literally nothing to say. All right, let's wrap this up, guys. We're almost at an hour 15. Let's go over our films. Chris, you want to start us off with your stack?
Sure. Mine were The Video Dead, The Human Centipede 3 final sequence, and One Missed Call.
Mine were The Ginger Dead Man. Shockman!
I genuinely cannot tell if he's frozen or...
No, he's actually. I can hear it.
Oh, still?
I can hear it.
He looks completely still. I can't hear him anymore. Oh, there he is.
And The Thing.
2011 thing.
Yes, the 2011 The Thing. Thank you.
I have Alien versus Predator, Leprechaun Origins,
Yes.
and Manos in the Hands of Fate.
All right.
I have a proposal.
Yeah, go for it.
What's your proposal?
Okay. I propose Ginger Dead Man, so we get the
Yes.
monster. I propose... Bran, what was your second one again?
Leprechaun Origins.
Leprechaun. But Leprechaun...
No, Ginger Dead Man is a slasher serial killer. He's a serial killer, so he's not really a monster. He's just in a gingerbread man. Like, he's a guy, you know, like, but he's not
Yeah.
a monster. Like, the Leprechaun
thinking-
Origins, that's a monster movie because it's like a little creature.
Then, okay, how about that? That could be our theme, like the style at which the villain comes
We
in.
have
So, like, in your
we have
case,
the creature,
serial
the
killer.
slasher, and then what
The elusive
we
force that is
need
One Missed
to
Call.
have. No, we need to have Human Centipede 3 on this stat.
Oh,
I'm
wait,
requiring it.
That,
I'm requiring
all right,
that
fine.
movie on
I'll,
this.
I'll give it. Yeah, I'll give out One Missed Call and Video Dead. Yeah, honestly, I'm down for it. We have never
Because-
selected a fight. Yeah, let's do it. I'm down for that. I like that.
I need to see what is come on, everybody, vote in the comments below. Eat shit, barf up butt. Come on, let us know. And then I need Leprechaun Origins because that is just. It's just so different from the Leprechaun movies. You know, Brand just
It's a
showed me
departure.
Leprechaun 3.
And it's good.
You know, it's good.
It's good.
And that's what makes him so good. Is he's like, you know, I tell a little toll and a little stupid little fuck you are, ho ho, you know, and that's
And
like his
then-
old
and then he
bit. I'm
kills
like,
him.
hey, it's a leprechaun. It's good. He does that, you know.
Yeah. And
But this
then
he's just like a little goblin, and I kind of want to see it.
he goes roar, roar.
Yeah, but that's not, you know. I just
Yeah.
want to see what sick fuck thought of that. And then the Gingerbread Man, because it is just, it's Gary Busey as a gingerbread man. Like, come on, you know?
How should we order? See, Human Centipede 3 as the finale, the epic
Yeah.
finale, Origins as the beginning, and then... 'cause
I
the
say we
Ginger
get,
Band.
yeah, more and more ridiculous. So we go Origins, where like, this is just a bland monster movie, you know? It's nothing like the last Leprechauns. And then you get the Gingerbread Man, you're like, what the fuck? What is Gary Busey doing here? How much did they pay him to do this, you know? I'm the Gingerbread Man, and I'm gonna kill you, you know?
He's
I
back,
gotta.
baby.
I like putting bagels in my shoe and running around for a mile and then eating them, you know. And then Human Centipede 3, which is just like what the hell?
Centipede.
The human shit. I know. I was like, I was still in Gary Busey mode. I was coming off Gary Busey mode when I was saying Human Centipede 3. The human centipede. Oh, what the? Let me know in the comments below if you'd rather eat shit up or barf up someone's butt. Let me know.
And then
Yeah.
okay, let's do
That's
it.
it. Let's do it. Let's run it down. All right, this is Stacks, our final episode for this year's Halloween-athon. Halloween-athon might return next year, but it might be a little bit different because we are changing we're changing the formula to the show. You don't know what it's going to be yet. Neither do we, but we're going to do it. Maybe I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen. They all come back, but so far as we know, this is going to be the last one. What's our first one for worst horror movies? Brandon, go.
Leprechaun Origins.
Leprechaun!
It's not as fun as it sounds. You think it's going to be an origin for Warwick Davis? Well, screw you. We're just going to have a generic monster slasher movie, huh? Where the hero goes, rawr, rawr, rawr. But there is one pretty cool, though.
What did you just say? One pretty good culo?
Yeah. That's all I need to say. This movie ain't nothing. Ain't worth my time.
All right. But
But I own it on Blu-ray.
And our next film is probably some of Gary Busey's finest work, actually. The method acting for him to actually transform into a gingerbread man, this horrible gingerbread man, is really impressive. I'm picking the Ginger Dead Man. A killer gingerbread man. What else can I say? The rest of the movie is garbage, really boring. It's very embarrassing to watch because it just like, I don't know. It just like it's the cinematic embodiment of someone like dropping like their groceries and all spilling out in the grocery aisle, you know, and they seem kind of crazy, so you don't really want to help them, but they're like, I don't know, you're just like, oh, what's going on? I can't, this is hard to watch, you know, I don't know what to do right now. That's how it feels like watching the Ginger Dead Man. For every scene where Gary Busey is not on screen as the little killer cookie. He's a little killer cookie, you know? It's good. Check it out if you want to be bored and amazed by a cookie that can come to life. Ginger Dead Man. What's our last film, Chris?
All right, and our last film
Woo!
is Eric Vallette's 2008 remake, One Missed Call, a terribly miscalculated remake of the classic Japanese film. Bland, boring, uninspired, kind of fun if you want to see some trash, but other than that, it's not the best thing in the world. But still might be fun, especially if you want to compare it to the original. So have at it.
Have at it.
Eat
Still
'em.
might be. Eat up. Eat 'em up. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Stacked and for this year's Halloween-a-thon. Thank you all so much for listening. We got a few good views on our videos this month. So thank you all for joining us and being entertained. I like talking about horror movies. I like watching horror movies. It's probably one of my favorite genres. Top 3 is horror, you know? I just think
That's so
horror is
weird.
it's just, why is that weird?
Because
Because-
you never before were like this. You were like, horror movies are garbage.
You used to hate horror movies.
I used to hate horror movies in high school. And then I watched John Carpenter's The Thing. And that was the movie that changed everything for me, honestly. I think this genre is just, out of any other genre, I think it really gets to let people dive into the weirdness that is in our human brains and what we can make out of those sick, dark depths. The most fucked up things and sometimes the most fucked up things we can think of are some of the most creative. And that's why I love horror, you know? People can think of some awfully scary, insane monsters or creatures, you know, or situations for people to be in. And it's just so impressive, you know? And that's why I love horror so much. Why do you guys love horror?
You know,
That's a good way to end this.
It's a unique emotion, I feel like, because horror is, like we said in the beginning of the episode, horror is able to elicit an emotion that isn't seen in other genres. Pieces may be seen in other genres, but the pure sense of horror, it's a complex feeling too. There's so many layers to it. So I like peeling that back and just seeing what's there.
Yeah.
nightmares come to life. We love those. I think it's a good way of encapsulating while also confronting our greatest fears. While also, like, I think giving an audience a way to confront things maybe underneath the surface that they might be delving into. Like, I think psychologically, there's a lot to like the ghost stories and slasher movies that they're saying. And there's those hidden meanings are often my favorite part of horror films. It just goes beyond. It goes beyond just, ooh, the gory kills. I mean, I love the slasher for those reasons, but also because, you know, they are saying something about evil. Go see Halloween Ends. Actually, really good movie. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Like you were going to.
Like you do with posters.
Yeah, but I judge the book by cover when it's good because I want to go see it, and then it turns out to be trash, just like Halloween Ends.
We've
So
extended this episode long enough.
We've extended this episode long enough. Let's get the frick out of here. Thank you all so much for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Remember, eat shit or barf up butt? Thanks
Do you
again.
think you're gonna put that in the Halloween?
That
candy
is
this
the
year?
question.
What, Brandon?
Do you think they're gonna put that in the Halloween candy this year? Witch on a broom. That's me.
What is wrong with you?